10 minutes from now, there will be, I actually don't know, 13, 14, 15 cars taking on the desert circuit of Bahrain in GP2. Welcome. My name is Pascal Mikola. This is the 8th round of the Classic Motorsport Hub Gold Star for 2021 in partnership with SimRace247. Sim racing is for everyone. Today, we look at something rather modern compared to what we usually run. It's the 2005 GP2 Series round at Bahrain, the final round of the 2005 GP2 Series, actually. And yeah, before further ado, let's introduce our commentator for today, Jack Morelli.
Hello, it's me, Jack Morelli. I was scheduled to be in this race, but it turns out that my monitor doesn't work that good anymore, so I'll be commentating it instead today.
All right. With that being said, as I said already, we're currently in qualifying. We're about 10 minutes from qualifying, and well, if you have a look at that, we have a barrier that's gotten broken earlier in the session, and that is from I hesitate to call him a rookie or a newcomer, Lorenzo Turi from Italy, doing a 1:39.89, clearing himself by over a second from everyone else in the field. And the next fastest car on the grid currently being Juan Guerrero. Let's have a quick look at the cars, because as I said, we run something a little bit more modern. We run a different format, and as we run to the actual rules from back then, from whatever we run, let's quickly explain that. So, in 2005, GP2 replaced what was back then Formula 3000 Euro International Championship, and with that came new cars. The Lola BO2-50 was replaced by the GP205 model of Dallara. So that means all cars on the grid are identical. The chassis are identical, the engines are identical. So we go from 500 horsepower in the Judd Zytec V8, 3 liter, go up 1 more liter in displacement, go to the Mechachrome V8, developing 600 horsepower, and as well grooved Bridgestone tires. They're basically identical to what was used in Formula 1 in 2005. The format of the series is also a little bit different. We have 2 races on our hands today. The first session today is currently underway. That is qualifying, a 45-minute session, which determines the grid for the feature race. Next up, in about a few minutes, we will head to the feature race, which will be 34 laps. 1 pit stop is mandatory, and you have to change tires. You can refuel, apparently. You don't have to, but you can. So you have to pit at least once. There's no different tire compounds, but the 1 mandatory pit stop kind of gives a little bit of a unpredictable element to the whole thing. The feature race sets the grid for the sprint race, except for the top 8 from the feature race, which will be reversed for the sprint race. And then the final session, of course, is the sprint race, which will be 24 laps, and both races award full points towards the Classic Motorsport Hub Gold Star Award, which means should someone win both races, which is possible, it's entirely possible for one driver to win both races, they get 50 points today. Now, as I mentioned, we are at the Bahrain International Circuit, having a look at that. As you can see, there are some things missing from the sheet, which I already mentioned. We have 2 races today, so there's no lap number, no distance, nothing. But in general, this circuit, it's one of my favorite circuits, most favorite circuits actually, and designed by Hermann Tilke in the early 2000s, like 2002, 2003. The first race was held in 2004. It's located in Manama in the Kingdom of Bahrain. The track itself is 5.4 kilometers long, or 3.36 miles. 15 turns, or 15 turns, and quite a bit of elevation change, especially in the second sector. They will bring some excitement, that's for sure. Now, we have just a few minutes left in qualifying now. Let me have a quick look at the standings as we are before giving back the reins to Jack. Currently, Lorenzo Turi is on a, quite safe pole position. He's currently exiting the pits for another run. Not sure why he would do that, but all the power to him. Juan Guerrero is in second place, sharing the front row with the Italian. So the pole position time currently is a 139.820. Not gonna get beaten. I just noticed another thing. Why are we looking at the standings? I said we're looking at the qualifying.
Perhaps a bit of a technical misunderstanding from the director.
Anyway.
It happens.
Anyway, the front row is currently composed of Lorenzo Turi and Juan Guerrero. Yours truly is in third place in front of Joe Gillett, so the championship fight is still going on strong. Arturo Smaglia, who actually signed up about 5 minutes before the start of qualifying, is a strong fifth, right in front of Andre Lagunzad of the Philippines. Owen Potter and Matthew Supagnoni are currently on row 4. Anderson Bernardino, Steve Velocity are on row 5. Paramesto and Simone Gilardini are on row 6. And Matthew Oboyski is currently in 13th place, rounding out the field with a 1 minute 50. So he's about 10 seconds down on the pole time, which is quite a bit. Anyway, that little technical issue out of the way, Jack, let's talk us through the standings in the championship actually, quickly.
Well, here are the standings as they are after round 7, which was the DTM race we've had a couple of weeks ago now, if I'm not mistaken. In first place, we have Pascal Mikula, the German, with 165 points, followed by Joe Gillett with 146 points. These guys are close. Then we got in third place Owen Potter from Great Britain with 64 points. There's a bit of a step there. Matthew Sibagnoni with 54 points takes up fourth place. After him is Giovanni Centorame with 50 points. Marcel Yahoda with 49 points. Juan Guerrero takes 7th place with 47 points. Andriy Baku, 40 points in 8th position. Pascal Kalide, another German, named Pascal as well, with 38 points, takes up 9th place. And in 10th, we have Pau Ernesto with 37 points. Next, we have Edis Batars with 37 points, In 12th place, Joaquin Gutierrez with 35 points. In 13th place, Lucas Gomez with 32 points, followed by Steve Velocity with 31 points. In 15th place, Simon Witt with 31 points. German Koroev with 30 points in 16th place. In 17th place, we have the American Matthew Oboyski with 30 points, tying with German Koroev, the Russian. In 18th place, we have Juan Amamsiyan with 28 points, followed by Edward Jordan with 26 points, Gustavo Losburro with 25 points, and that's about it. Wait, is this? Oh, there's more. There's
more. There's more.
I've noticed that the graphics have changed. That's pretty good.
I just said let's hurry up a little bit. Here's the rest of the standings, starting with 21st place Christian Schieger with 20 points, all the way down to Filippo Marazzi with 10 points. And then we got more standings. Aaron Curtis 10 points, Nur Nubli, yourself in 31st with 8 points. Since you raced in the DTM race and you got 8 points from that, so gotta get that bread. Juan Rapido 6 points, Agatino Bivona 4 points, Jensen Booker 4 points, Alex Toogood with 4 points, and running out we got 3 more drivers. 39 drivers have raced in the Gold Star and scored at least 1 point. How is that? Fulgencio Alfonso with 4 points, and then Anderson Bernardino with 2 points after he raced in the DTM race, and then J.A. Brown from the Netherlands also with 2 points, rounding out the field. The qualifying is actually over now. We got Lorenzo Turi on pole position. On the front row is Juan Guerrero and behind him it's myself, Joe Gillette, Arturo Smaglia, Andre Lagunsat, Owen Potter, Matze Bagnoni, who is currently spinning again, Anderson Bernardino, Steve Velocity, Power Mesto, Simone Ghilardini, and Matthew Oboiski. Actually, since everyone is in the pits and Matthew Bagnoni just spun on his final lap, that is your final standings for qualifying.
Ooh.
Congratulations for Lorenzo Turi and Juan Guerrero for pole position and second place respectively.
So just out of curiosity, how many races has this Turi guy made so far?
Turi, that's his first race.
Oh.
Here at CMH at least.
So we got a new underdog in the race. Some new guy.
I wouldn't call him an underdog when he's out qualifying everyone by at least a second.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. But still, he's the new guy and he's already showing y'all how it's done.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I take solace in that Juan Guerrero also outqualified me, so my excuse is that I'm just not that good in those cars, probably. They are rare. The thing is, I think you did some practice as well before your monitor started remembering that it's Italian. And these things are very unstable under acceleration. These things have very slidey rear ends. Like you can if you can take a corner flat out, you're already doing a good job.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared of these cars, honestly. They feel they're completely different from DTM cars, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. The thing is, like, you go from these F3000 cars with their 3-liter engines, you have a jump of almost 100 horsepower, and then you know it's just quite a bit. Anyway, we got a 15 minutes warm up, and yeah, the start procedure will be that we have a simple formation lap and then a standing start. So while I will do the quick briefing with everyone, Jack, you can talk to us a little bit about your experiences with the cars, with everything, while I'll be away from it.
Absolutely. So this circuit, as Pascal pointed out a couple of minutes ago, does have some elevation changes and some, which makes for an interesting layout. It's not particularly easy to drive with those cars, probably because the cars are not easy to drive. But on the plus side, they do have a sequential gearbox, so you don't have to press the clutch to change gears, and it's instantaneous. You do need to start, and if you mess that up, it sucks to be you. Basically, that's all you can say about that. 600 horsepower in a tiny little car that weighs, what, 20 pounds, something like that, weighs next to nothing, basically, with tons of downforce. There's no room for mistakes. There is absolutely no room for mistakes. It's not like a DTM car like we've had in a previous Gold Star race, where if you kick the rear end out a little bit, you can still manage to save it because it's still a normal car. The chassis flexes a little bit and all that, so you still have some room for errors with DTM cars. With these cars, you really don't. You mess up, you're going straight into the wall. Like, no kidding. And here we see some of the drivers are starting to get on the track to leading the way, it seems. As he goes very slowly up to the pit exit. Or maybe not. Let's just say that it's an interesting combination, this one, the track and the cars. Obviously, this is a support race for a Formula 1 race, if I'm not mistaken.
You are actually mistaken, if I may just correct you.
Am I?
Yeah, I was surprised as well. I had first thought that this race was in support of the 2005 Bahrain Grand Prix for Formula 1, but then I looked at it, I saw it's the final race of the GP2 season. That means it must have become late later in the year.
Oh, so it's a completely different time. Okay, I didn't know that.
The thing, and yeah, the Bahrain Grand Prix in Formula 1 was at the beginning of the year, like the third or fourth race. So this is actually a standalone event, not in support of anything else, which kind of also was also a little bit of the reason why we chose it. We actually wanted to use. Well, we have basically the full calendar to choose from for this event. And we first wanted to do Imola because it was the first race of the first season of GP2, like the very first one. Then we remember that actually Imola is more. It's not that easy to overtake, and if you want to overtake at Imola, you have to do a little bit of a suicide move almost. And yeah, then we thought, well, maybe Silverstone, but we've driven at Silverstone like 4 times already this year in the CMH. I think at some points, at some point you either get sick of seeing Woodcut and cops every single day, or you know it by heart. So we decided, you know what? Let's go to Bahrain. People know the track. It's a modern track. We drive modern-ish cars, spec serious. You know.
Yeah, that makes for an interesting race then, because it's not a support race, it's the last race of this season. Then it's a little bit more special than, say, a support race in Formula One. Although I gotta say, I don't mind driving on the Silverstone, that's for sure. So, take that as you will, but still, a very, very interesting and unique track with some interesting and unique cars in an interesting and unique racing season. It's spot on, should I say. It's very interesting. And I honestly can't wait for the race to start and see what happens.
Well, let's have a quick look around the course. I'm actually currently about to leave the pits. I will do a little procedure called the practice start, which we all know from Formula One. So, stopping at the end of the pit lane here, real quick, going into first gear, finding the white point of the clutch. Here we go. I think someone is about to come through. Oh, whatever. Let's just go real quick. So the front straight is very long, actually. It gives a lot of opportunity to overtake. Turn 1 is very tight. You don't want to miss the apex, and if you do, well, good luck getting through turn 2 at any sort of speed. Turn 3 is just a little kink here onto the, second straight, not the back straight. Again, an opportunity to outbrake your opponent here, but you have to be careful because this corner doesn't really give a lot of opportunity to take different lines. Then this complex, the next 4 corners, you'll rely on a lot of on what little downforce you probably have, and you can see the car is a bit slippery. This corner is very, very tight. You have to be careful on the exit. This is where I spun a lot during qualifying, and then these 2 corners are pretty infamous because you have a fast left-hand corner where you have to start braking for the next corner. So your inside front tire will lock up almost instantly. Now this is the proper back straight. I reach about 270 on the straight, going down to third gear. You take a very high line through this corner. You don't really want the apex of the previous corner. Flat out through here. Into sector 3, slow down. Hope you're not locking up your front tire. Onto the penultimate straight. Hope that the guy behind you doesn't have a draft. Otherwise, you may have some action into the final corner. Second gear for here. I missed the apex a bit. As you can see, a little bit twitchy. Onto the front straight, you're having top speeds of about 288, 290 maybe in the slipstream. Let's have a look what I get here. 294. And that was without a slipstream, so let's have a look at what's gonna happen during the race. So yeah, as I said, we have 13 people currently who will take part in the feature race start. Turn 1 is gonna be, I don't want to call it a mess, but it's gonna be interesting.
Is it gonna be like, oh god, what was it? Monza, that track that has the first corner that kills everybody. Or was it Imola? I can't remember.
No, I think you're talking about Monza.
Yeah, Monza, that one. It does feel like it might go that way. Because it's a very tight corner after a very long straight. So
If everyone finds their breaking point properly during this little session, we have about 7.5 minutes left. I think we can have a somewhat safe turn one.
oh,
It's
that would
also
be
very,
lovely.
it's also very important to know because we did one of the Gold Star races at CMH was the 1991 Japanese Grand Prix, and as you may know, that one went rather swimmingly. With out of 15 people, 3 finished. One of which was a Modena driver who was 6 laps down. That was Simone Ghilardini. Yeah, it went so well that we decided to not run Formula One for the foreseeable future, simply because,
It was
you know,
just too good, yeah.
yeah, basically. No, the thing is, you cannot hop into a early '90s Formula One car and expect to just be quick on the spot. You know,
Yeah, it
there's
takes
Matthew
practice.
Simeoni who is stationary. He's very slow. Now he's actually stationary. So we decided, until you guys realize that it's not all good cherry picking and turning up to the race 5 minutes, or starting to download your stuff 5 minutes before the race is beginning. It's just like, no more Formula One, because you guys literally just cannot drive these cars. This is about as close to Formula One as we're gonna get with GP2, and yeah, let's see how this goes.
I'm betting it's gonna be just as fun as Formula One, though. I mean, you still
These
have a
are these are these are
small light
slightly
car.
these are slightly downsized Formula One cars with about,
Yeah,
if you think about it, 2005, you had these V10s that are revving up to 20,000 RPM. The last year of the Formula One V10s, if you discount the Cosworth V10 and the Toro Rosso in 2006, you had these things pushing almost like 900 horsepower in the Formula One. You had traction control and all of that fancy stuff, yes. If you look at GP2 cars, they're really just kind of like they look very similar to a Formula One car. They have simpler aerodynamics, about 300 horsepower less, and they sound just as good.
yeah, and I've noticed that Guerrero spun out.
Oh,
Probably because, well, they're a bit twitcher to drive. Do these cars have traction control, by the way?
no.
Yeah, that might be it then.
You have to be careful on the throttle with these.
Yeah, I would assume so. So essentially, they're just detuned, tiny little Formula One cars with no safety equipment whatsoever. So you don't get traction control. And do you have ABS at least?
They don't have any traction control or anything.
So they got nothing. They got absolutely nothing, and you still have 600 horsepower in a relatively small and light car. So that could prove to be interesting. It's not gonna be as fast as the big brother Formula One car, but the GP2 car can still be a handful to drive, especially on a track like this, because you don't see the corners coming up in some places. Like I swear I saw Turek lift off the ground there. I can't be the only one who saw that, right?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I think I saw Turek lift off the ground, and that's what I was talking about. With all these up and downs of the track, you cannot see the track coming, and it could lead to some interesting outcomes with some of the corner entrances, because you just don't see them. You're just going up a hill, and then suddenly you have a corner. What do you do?
I'm just watching him. He just did a 141.1. Probably in race trim. This is gonna be if he's that fast in race trim, I'm scared.
Oh boy.
That's faster than what loads of us did in qualifying.
That is very, very quick.
Someone tell him to slow down. He's driving the what was this? Is that Team Durango? I think the number 25, originally driven by Gianmaria Bruni in 2005. Yeah, I actually don't know what team it is, but it might be Durango. Yeah, it is Durango. It says it on the side pod, durango.it. I think we have the other Durango car as well, driven by, yeah, it's Anderson Bernardino who's driving the other Durango car.
Armest also spun out.
Yes, that tends to happen.
Yeah.
So I think we're seeing Matthew Cipagnoni during a practice start, and he's having a bit of a wheel spin there. He gets away, but yeah, looks okay. Looks okay. Now,
These cars truly are a handful to drive if you still got people practicing starts with them.
Well, you don't have a lot of time to practice your starts during qualifying because
True, fair enough.
you kind of have to qualify. So you get the warm-up session to practice everything else, to put the car in full tank, everything. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when people are going to do their stops. There's no limit on like how many laps you have to complete. There's really nothing. There's this full rules, everything. So if there's a bad crash or anything, we may have a safety car as well. Something we haven't seen in quite a while. Lorenzo Turi just left the server, so he probably lost connection, if I'm not mistaken. No, he just left by himself, so he will be back in a bit. And about a minute and a half left to go until the start of the feature race. We got some new shiny graphics as well, which we will show during the race. Let's have a quick look at the formation lap. Let's have one at the on the formation lap. Beautiful, nice.
Ooh, fancy.
Very fancy. Then we have a starting light counter, which hopefully should work, which is manually operated.
Oh, there it is.
There it is, and the lights are out, and away we go.
Huh.
Beautiful. So, what else do we have? I think we have the checkered flag as well. The man waving the checkered flag, which we had at Indy, which was like really cute. Like it was from some 90s, like some late 90s game, racing game.
Yeah. That was my favorite one.
Yeah, that was great. I think our director has to still find it, but yeah, we got that one as well. I think if you watched the RSR Indy 500 qualifying, you know what I'm talking about with the checkered flag thing. Anyway, warm-up's over. Almost, I think. It is actually now over, yes. Good luck to everyone, and yeah, let's go.
Here we go, we're about to witness the start of this GP2 race. This is going to be interesting. Again, a very complicated track with cars that really are a handful to drive, elevation changes, tight corners, long straights. It's just going to be brilliant. I know.
I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah. I'm looking forward to see what happens.
Anyway, let's go. No heroism in turn 1. Simone Gallardini spitting facts here. That's very nice. Red car Spinala. That's Matthew Cipognoni trying to be funny. Oh no, I'm not gonna read that out. it's Matthew Boyski just said live fast, and then you know the rest. Let's go.
Start your engine. 30 seconds to start.
All right, let's go onto the grid. 25 seconds to go until the formation lap.
Oh, goody.
Well, actually, it's more like 20 seconds now. Game is being synchronized. All right. Juan Guerrero's on the grid. Arturo Smaglia is on the grid. Everyone's on the grid.
Yep.
And the formation lap is underway. Let's go through the grid for the feature race of the 8th event of the 2021 CMH Gold Star. Formation lap is underway. Jack, take it away, my friend.
Absolutely. In P1, we have Turi, who took the lead away from Guerrero earlier by just qualifying with a magnificent time. After Turi and Guerrero, we have Mikula, Gillett, Smaya, Lagunzad, and then in 7th place, Potter, followed by Sibagnoni, Bernardino, Velocity, Ernesto, Ghilardini, and in last place, the American Oboisky. The formation lap is underway, and soon the proper race will start. And I am quite excited, because again, these cars are, wow, and the track, it's gonna be interesting. As I've said, the elevation changes really do mess you up if you're not careful about them, because as you can see from this camera as well, you really can't see the corner coming up. So unless you know it's there, you're probably not going to be slowing down enough for it, which could lead to some interesting things happening. I think I saw a cone on the track, but oh well. Anyways, as I was saying, it's going to make for some interesting approaches to overtakes as well. Because obviously, if you distract your opponent in front of you by battling with him for the position, they might forget the corners coming up because they don't see it. That could be a possibility. I think it could happen. I hope not, obviously, because otherwise they're going to go off the track, but I wouldn't be surprised if that happened.
All right, now I think we're all getting bunched up. Oh, some cars are going really fast now in the final bits. We're getting onto the front straight. Last bit of weaving, last bits of burnouts. And I hope our director has picked the camera where he can see the starting lights for the start.
He did.
Very nice.
And there we go, the cars are lining up to the grid, some of them being a little bit squiggly, like Smaya. It seems like everything's
We have
going good
one,
so far.
someone is in the pits. Matthew Sibagnoni is going to take a pit lane start, apparently. Not sure what happened,
Oh, that
but
was weird.
the Velocity is coming onto the grid now, and we have starters orders eventually. Matt needs to get to the end of the pit lane, not sure. Oh, there's Velocity still coming to his grid slot.
Yep.
Let's go! Let's go! Lights are coming on, one after the other. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go!
And away we go. And it seems like Oboisky is off to a really bad start, unfortunately for him. The same with, what's his name in the red car? I completely forgot. Sibagnoni is still getting out of the pits. No idea what happened and why it would start from he was forced to start from the pits, but I guess that happened. In the meantime, Guerrero took the lead from Turi. However, Turi is fighting back. He's not going to let that one slide, especially after the qualifying time he had. There's already a great battle going on for first place. Guerrero just took the opportunity, maybe had a better start, and someone spun out. Oboisky has crashed and is missing his front wing. Possibly rear-ended someone else. Who was that? Nevertheless, the race still keeps going. And it seems like there's a bunch of battles going on. Oh my god. We have a battle for third place between Smaya and Gillett. It seems like. Yep. And then we have another battle for first place between Guerrero and Turi, who, just to remind you, Guerrero had a better start than Turi and took the lead immediately. Yep, there they go. It seems like they are bunched up in smaller groups, 2 or 3 cars. So there's going to be plenty of battles this time around. Meanwhile, it seems like Mikula is just off on his own out of a group, and Turi just overtook Guerrero in a magnificent maneuver. However, Guerrero comes up the inside and takes the lead back from Turi. That was a magnificent attack from the Italian. However, it didn't go as planned because Guerrero took the inside line. Let's see if he can do it again over here. Torres seems to have taken the inside line, but is not carrying enough speed to finalize the overtake. They're really just next to each other. There's like a couple centimeters between the two cars most of the time. Meanwhile, Smalia and Gillett are fighting for third position. And they are also very close between one another. It's just this group is very aggressive, it seems. They do not want to lose the position, and at the same time, their opponents want their position. As Story goes again for the attack, coming up on the inside line, not carrying enough speed again for that corner. I'm thinking he's just trying to tire out Guerrero into making a mistake, as I was saying earlier, and he literally took off. I'm not the only one who saw that, right? I can't be the only one who saw that. But yes, this track is dangerous, because if your wheels are not touching the ground, then, you know, you're not going to be able to steer or brake. But that's just going to make things more interesting, I would say. As I say that, Smaya and Gillett have caught up with the first two drivers, it seems, and Turi is again going for the attack and overtaking Guerrero. Let's see if he can actually manage to take the position as Maya overtakes Guerrero ever so slightly. But Guerrero is on the inside once again and almost bumps into both Turi and Smaglia. That was, wow, that was really close. But nevertheless, Smaglia managed to close the overtake and get P2. I don't think Guerrero is very happy about that, as Gillett is now having to battle with a new opponent for the third position, since his last opposition came up to second place. And they are very close to each other. I think they actually touched Guerrero and Smaglia. I think they actually touched a little bit, because they are literally bumper to bumper, all of them. Just absolutely brilliant. They're so close together, it's almost dangerous. But dangerous is fun. As we're coming up to the back straight, sparks coming out of the cars due to the downforce pressing down on them so much. You kind of need it for these corners, but it might penalize you in the straightaways. It seems like Turri is building a gap between the other drivers that are behind him. That is amazing. He's just waving goodbye at them and going on his race as Gillett spins out on the last corner but manages to recover and goes back into the race. He is now behind Mikula. I mean, he lost one position. Still a very, very unfortunate spin out. As I said, these cars are not easy to drive. It's very easy to spin them out. So that was just bound to happen eventually, but that was very unfortunate for Gillett. He was doing so well trying to catch up with Guerrero, but that mistake costed him the position. As we're coming up to I think a letdown car. Yes, that is a Boyski, and Mikula just touched with Gillett. I think they've touched one another in the corner. Is that going to affect the downforce on Mikula's car? That's the question. That overtake was a bit messy from Gillett, yes, but oh, Guerrero went off. My God, what happened there? Guerrero must have made a mistake and went off the track. Meanwhile, Mikula is not giving up on that position that Gillett took from him. I wonder what he's thinking about. I mean, he must be angry about that. He spun out right in front of him, got the car back together behind Mikula, and now he's overtaking it, and they kind of bumped into one another. So, yeah, that might be interesting as Mikula spins out and is on the sand. Almost crashing into Guerrero as he was going around the same corner. And Oboyski has overtaken him as well. The lap-down car has overtaken Mikula. And right behind him is Potter. In the meantime, Armesto and Ghilardini are now fighting for... what is that? P9, 9th position. Jesus Christ, they're getting very close to each other. As Ernesto goes for the attack. I wonder if... No, Ghilardini is trying to get the battle line. And Ernesto is trying to outbrake, but he's gone on the outside. But he managed to completely overtake and take the position away from him. He is now in P9. That was actually brilliant.
And as you said, Turi is kind of just waved goodbye to the opposition. No, he just did the fastest lap of the race, 1:41.3. As I mentioned earlier, that's about the pace that I was doing in qualifying.
Yeah, he's just a madman, honestly. He's just flooring it all the time and getting... I have no idea how he's doing that, honestly. I already struggled with the DTM cars a little bit, let alone the GP2 cars, so hats off to that guy, honestly. In the meantime, it seems Ernesto took the position back from Ghilardini, and he's tried to widen the gap as much as possible before losing the position again. Well, that's going to be interesting to see how that develops during the race, especially during the mandatory pit stop, which, as I just said, it is mandatory. You need to get new tires, and if I'm not mistaken, you can also get fuel during the pit stop. So that could potentially spell trouble for some of the drivers that are currently battling to keep their position. And Velocity seemed to have had a bit of a mishap during that turn. No idea what happened. Meanwhile, Ghilardini just again takes flight off that hill, and he's trying to catch up to Ernesto, but Ernesto is just driving way too fast. He's building up a giant gap between him and Ghilardini. Meanwhile, Velocity is closing in on Ghilardini, so that could spell trouble for him as Ernesto spins out on the last corner. My God, well, I guess now Ghilardini just has to worry about Velocity. Well, that was unexpected. Anyway, it seems like Guerrero is still in third place, and he is trying to close the gap with Gillett. I have no idea what happened to Smania. Smania was in second place, if I'm not mistaken, or third place, and he is now in fourth. I wonder what happened. Maybe he spun out. Either way, Guerrero is really trying his damn hardest to close the gap between him and Gillett and get a chance to eventually take his position away, but it doesn't seem like that's the case because Gillett is driving faster than he is. He's widening the gap, especially in the corners, which are a very important part of this track. Despite the fact that it's got straights, it's also got some really, really nasty corners, so naturally you're gonna want a car that can actually do these corners and not just the straight bits, because otherwise you're not gonna have a good time. And as I say that, Turi is gone. Turi is just gone, completely gone. It's just almost 10 seconds ahead of the car behind him. So unless he messes up, he's probably got this in the bag already. And it's been just a handful of laps. So, you know, the new guy is showing everybody else how it's done. That's brilliant. Actually brilliant. Seems like Guerrero is closing the gap ever so slightly now. Or at least attempting to. In the meantime, it seems like most other drivers got spaced out between one another. Especially the gap between Potter and Ghilardini is pretty wide. It's almost 20 seconds. So the groups we saw earlier, the smaller groups, are now becoming more spread out, and they're also becoming bigger. Because as we see from the second half of the current grid, they're close, but they're also very far away from other groups. So that could be interesting to see what happens back there.
Looks like, oh, Matt Sabagnoni just retired.
What happened?
I don't know. He just showed up as retired.
Oh, he crashed. That was happened. Here's the replay of that.
Unfortunate for him.
Yep.
You mentioned the pit stops earlier. It looks like Matthew Oboyski, being about 2 laps down almost, he has already done his mandatory pit stop, so he doesn't need to stop anymore. The rest of the field still has to.
Well, I mean, he's already 2 laps down, so might as well get it done early and have
No,
a
he fell
chance.
down. He fell down that much because he pitted. When when I came up to lap him the first time, he just came out of the pits. It looks like.
Oh, well,
Yep.
that's an interesting tactic. You're not gonna have
Definitely.
fresh tires by the end, but you're also gonna have your pit stop done already, so you might be able to get a couple of overtakes on. Who knows? We're gonna have to wait and see for that one. That's for sure. Meanwhile, Sabagnoni has retired. He crashed into the back of Steve Velocity and lost the front wing. So that was unfortunate for him, but that's kind of what happens with these races. Velocity spun out in that corner, and Sabagnoni was not able to stop in time to avoid him, and he just crashed right into him. And it seems like Smaya has spun out as well, and he has retired as well. Oh, that's not good. He spun out and retired probably due to some mechanical problems. I don't know. We're gonna have to dig into that later on, but that was interesting. He's just spun out and retired. Either way, Guerrero is still attempting to close the gap with Gillett. He is being unsuccessful so far. I say that, and he takes his position because Gillett just spun out. That was... I should probably shut up when I say these things, because that was just some perfectly timed commentator curse. I'm sorry, but that was just too much.
I don't know what just happened with Turi. Let's check on Turi because I don't know if he glitched out back and forth.
Oh, he's
Now the gap is again widening. What's happening with Turi?
I have no idea. The camera is showing the side of a cliff right now.
Oh, Guerrero's out.
Guerrero is out as well?
Something happened with him. I don't know what. I saw him in the, I'll call it infield, just stopped. Not sure what happened there. But yeah, when I saw Turi just kind of glitched out, was scored behind Guerrero, then was scored back in front, and the gap started building up really quickly. That was I'll call it weird, because I haven't seen that one before.
There's some shenanigans going on. That was very weird indeed, because now the gap is 26 seconds. And yeah, the gap to the second to Gillett is 26 seconds, about 27 seconds, and right behind him.
That's already a whole pit stop, isn't it? Almost a whole pit stop.
Yeah, pretty much. He could take this pit stop whenever he wants now and get it done. Meanwhile, it seems like La Gunzad is right behind Gillett by half a second with the same car. They're on the same team essentially. That's going to be interesting because Lagunza probably wants that P2 now, because let's face it, with Guerrero out of the picture and Smaya out of the picture, you have a lot less competition going on. So yeah, that opens up opportunities for a lot of drivers that were maybe a bit further behind and are now able to catch up to others.
Yeah, he really is right behind him, 0.6 seconds as of now.
Yeah. He's really just almost bumper to bumper, I want to say.
Really darn fast.
Yep, but Gillett is faster, it seems like, because he's widening the gaps in the straights. So I say that, but he might have made a bit of a mistake in that corner, and Lagunza was able to close the gap a bit. and he's not trying to go for the overtake on this straight, particularly as we come up to the last corner, but he might now on the start-finish straight. Let's see what happens, if he drafts or not. He doesn't. And Gillette is building a gap again. So it seems like Lagunza is probably trying to tire out Gillette and eventually take his position away from him. Which would explain his tactic of just putting pressure on him and then eventually slowly dropping back. Meanwhile, it seems like Mikula is in the pits, probably getting that pesky mandatory pit stop done as quick as possible so that he can get back into the race. Seems like there's a bit of jumping going on a little bit with the gaps. But I digress. Because Spotter has overtaken Mikula, who wasted a bit of time on the pit stop, meaning that Potter had the opportunity to take his 4th place.
Got word from Juan Guerrero. He lost connection.
Oh,
He got connection issues that eventually took him out of the race. Very unfortunate, but then again, we still have a sprint race after this.
yep, so he still got a chance to score some points then. Hopefully, that is. Anyway, it seems like Touré
Well, he's
is...
got the speed for that.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, it seems like Touré is building even more of a gap, but yeah, if he wants to get that pit stop done, he can do it now, and there's not going to be many consequences for that. Meanwhile, Gillet and Lagunza are fighting again with each other on the start-finish straight, and they're going to have to deal with Velocity, who is a lap down. So hopefully the blue flag is already waving and Velocity makes way for the 2 other drivers. As we come up to this really nasty corner that you can't really see because of the grade, the hail grade that is just right in front of it. Which again, if you get a lot of cars close together and you're pressuring each other into seeing which one is going to brake last, it's not a particularly good thing to happen because you're going to have people just not seeing the corners, braking too late, and going straight into the wall. Meanwhile, Velocity has made way for Gillett, but Lagunza might have had a bit of trouble overtaking him because he didn't make enough room for the 2 of them. So Gillett took the opportunity and built a gap between the 2 of about 1.4 seconds. Meanwhile, it seems Mikula is attempting to reach Potter as the gap is now down to just 1 second between the 2 cars. It seems like everybody else is a lap down. So, with so many cars being a lap down, it could open up some opportunities or straight up mess somebody's day up. Because you have a lap down car, if it doesn't let you through because he can't, then you're not going to have a good time. However, if it lets you through, but not your opponent, that's going to be a blessing. Kind of like Gillett did with Lagunza back when he was trying to overtake Velocity, which was a lap down. That gave him the opportunity to get Lagunza off of his back and a bit of breathing room to relax and eventually build up a bigger gap, simply because you're not pressured into driving too fast for a corner. So that would be interesting.
And it looks like
Gillett spun out. Yeah, he lost the rear wing as well. He crashed into the barrier, and he lost the rear wing. So, oh yeah, that car looks very, very squiggly now. That's gonna spell trouble for him. If he can't get it replaced, then he might.
he definitely has. He definitely has to go to the pits if he lost his front rear wing.
Yeah, but
and that's gonna be a lengthy pit stop because you don't just change your rear wing on the fly.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna have to fix the chassis if it ripped off. So it might take some time to actually get the wing back on his car, and
Yep.
he really chose a bad position for that to happen because he is nowhere near the pits now. Oh, and they spun out again. Again, that rear wing just not being there is just a
It
terrible
kind of,
thing to happen.
yeah, it kind of messes up your aerodynamics. You lose about all of your downforce over the rear axle, and then
Which
you
is the
just spin
drive
out.
axle.
Oh,
Mind
that
you.
as well. That's even worse.
So you're gonna have no grip on the rear tires, which are the wheels driving the car, so you're gonna be spinning out all the time, which is not great. So Gillett really has to just take it easy as it comes up to the pit lane and is going in. Yep. He's going in. You just simply cannot drive those cars without a rear wing. But that means that Lagunza is now in second place. He took his position. He is still 35 seconds away from the leader, Turri, but still, that was a very lucky break for him. He got his position without too much trouble. For Lagunza, that is, because, yeah, Gillett spun out and lost his wing, so. It seems like it's gonna take a while because Potter and Mikula have already overtaken him. And that means that he might be a lap down soon, if he's not quick enough.
Yep, Tariq is coming on the front straight right now, and he's a lap down.
Yeah, he is now a lap down. So that was really sad for Gillett. I feel sad. I feel bad for him because he was just driving really good and defending really well his position. But that, as I said, just you have no room for mistakes with these cars. Like, I'm not joking. You have no room for mistakes. If you mess up, you're going straight into the wall. And let's see some action. Mikula is battling with Potter to take his position and take the podium, which will be an interesting development. Seems like there are bumper to bumper essentially, going through that S-turn with a little bit of elevation added to it, as Mikula's car barely lifts off the ground, and he's taking the inside and is going to try to overtake him on the straight. Let's see if he can finish the maneuver. They are inches away from one another. That is insane. But Gillett seems to have taken, not Gillett, sorry, Potter seems to have taken the inside to no avail. Because Mikula took the position. They're still side by side, or at least very close. Wait, no, they're not. Mikula must have locked up and given him the position, or no, he's getting into the pits. So he either gave up because he already knew he was going to go into the pits, or he's having mechanical problems. And
Well, what happened there right now was that Owen, I was beside him on the penultimate straight. He just turned a little bit to the right. I thought, okay, I'll go around the outside then. And then he spun. Like, we touched a bit in the final corner. He spun, and now he's in the pits. He did his... Oh, that was a quick pit stop. We will have to check afterwards if that was just a pass-through or if he did actually change tires.
Yeah, we're going to have to check eventually because you still have a mandatory pit stop to make, so... I mean, take the opportunity as it comes, just spin out right in front of the pit lane, might as well use it at that point. You've already lost a position, might as well get the pit stop done. As Velocity spins out, Velocity is a lap down car, so it doesn't really matter for his position, however it matters for the driver right behind him.
Lagunsad is in the pits making his mandatory pit stop, and I'm looking at the map. Velocity is right behind me on track, and the car right behind Turi. So I don't want to raise any suspicions, but Turi is about to lap everyone up to myself, including myself.
Oh,
which is remarkable to say the least. And Lagunsad is now out of the pits.
I don't think I've seen that happen yet.
Especially given we're driving, spec cars.
Yeah, exactly. That just means that Turi is literally showing you guys how it's done. Jesus Christ. That is some magnificent driving by Turi. God. Meanwhile, it seemed like Lagunzad's pit stop barely affected him, as the gap between him and Mikula is still very wide, so he essentially got that second place in the bag. Same with Mikula. With Potter out of the picture, he probably has the position. However, it seems like Potter has pitted again. So it seems like, yes, he did just do a drive-by of the pit lane without actually stopping and doing anything, but he is now pitting for real to change tires and get some fuel, it seems. That's an interesting choice. Reminds me of the Ferrari master plan, but I digress. Ghilardini and Armesto both overtook Potter now. Seems like also Gillard overtook him, but Bernardino as well, as Potter comes out of the pit lanes. Velocity is still 2 laps down. Meanwhile, Mikula is just driving as fast as possible, possibly trying to catch up with second place Lagunzad. However, whether that's possible or not, I cannot say. Because Lagunzad is just completely alone. There's nobody around him. He could just go for a leisurely drive around the track, essentially.
So there are still a few cars that have to pit. Lorenzo Turi has to pit. Paolo Mesto has to pit. Simone Ghilardini, Bernardino, and Steve Velocity. They still have to do a pit stop. And we are now halfway through the race already. Lap 17:34, exactly at 50% race distance.
I wonder what's going on with Ghilardini and Bernardino, because it seems like they've been trading positions for a while now. Let's take a look at that.
Yeah, that looks like a battle that we missed, kind of.
Yeah, we also missed the spin out because Ghilardini seems to be going very, very slow. Oh, wait, he's missing the rear wing! Ghilardini has lost the rear wing. What happened? Oh, he just went off the track. Oh, that was...
And looks like Steve Velocity is now in the pits, and yep, Simone Ghilardini is now right in front of me. And...
spun out, lost his wing.
Oh yeah, he's missing his wing.
And... potentially...
oh, he's spinning again. Oh, he almost close on the back straight, spinning at high speed. You don't want to go too fast when you're missing your rear wing.
Yeah, we can see that. We were watching the replay of the accident, and ooh, that was a nasty hit. But it doesn't seem like his car took that hit very well, because it's now stopped on the side of the track, unable to get started. I don't know if it's because it's in the sand or if it's because his engine is damaged, but it doesn't seem like he's having a good time with that car now. As he drives onto the sand still, trying to make his way to the track without a rear wing, just going very, very slow, like inner city speed limits almost. I mean, that's kind of what you want to do if your car doesn't have a rear wing. Meanwhile, Mikula has spun out as well. Not that it matters that much, because Gillett is just so far behind him, but still.
And now the leaders in the pits, Lorenzo Turi.
Yeah, about that. Turi, who's almost 72 seconds ahead of Lagunzad in second place. He could have really pitted whenever he wanted, honestly. It doesn't matter for him. He's so far ahead that it really doesn't matter. He's out driving everyone in this race. It's amazing. It seems like Gillett has managed to unlap himself. I'm not sure how much that is going to last, but I guess we're gonna have to see. While Armesto is also pitting, so that leaves 1 or 2 cars that still have to pit, if I'm not mistaken. Which could be interesting, because the lower parts of the grid are kinda bunched together. So we might have a 3-way with Armesto, Potter, and Bernardino.
So now Ghilardini's in the pits. He's doing his mandatory pit stop. Well, he kind of has to.
Yeah, I was about to say he kind of has to. He doesn't have a rear wing anymore.
And the only one yet to pit is Mr. Bernardino of Brazil. However, he's up almost a lap ahead of Velocity, but he's in a fight with Owen Potter at the moment.
Yeah, he's in a fight with Potter, who is in a fight with Armesto. So yeah, we are getting a three-way fight right now. So we're gonna have to see whether Bernardino eventually pulls over and gets his tires changed, or if he sticks to his guns and gets the passed on and keeps on racing until he has to stop for the mandatory pit stop. Guess we're gonna have to wait and see for that one as the tactics develop. However, it seems like Gillett is building a gap between him and Turri. He really doesn't want to be lapped again, probably. And Potter lost his front wing. Yep, that's not great. Potter's gonna have to stop again to change the part of the bodywork on his car again, so that he can actually drive the car decently, because now the car is gonna understeer a lot through the corners, and he might just either go straight into the wall or just go around the corner slowly, as it seems to have done, as it comes up to the pit lanes to get that fixed. So I guess Bernardino can breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that Potter is out of the picture now. He can take his car for a leisurely drive, essentially, unless he wants to close the gap between him and Armesto.
Well, remember, while Owen is still in the pits, Bernardino still has the pit. Owen is now leaving the pits. Let's see, Bernardino still has the pit. We are about 14 laps from the end.
So Bernardino is the only guy.
And there
left
comes
that
Turi
needs
about
pit,
to lap
right?
Potter again. Yes, Bernardino is the only one who has to pit still.
I mean, he might have enough of a gap. There might be enough of a gap between him and Potter to pull this off, but I guess we're gonna have to see what Bernardino's tactic actually is. There's no way you can tell that. Seems like in the meantime, Gillett has been indeed lapped by Turri as Bernardino spins out. Probably because of these old tires. He might have messed up his chance to actually get a pit stop done without getting overtaken, as he struggles to get back on track and get his car started. It wasn't enough for Potter to catch up, but it might have been enough for him to screw up his pit stop. That was unfortunate. Well, it seems like Lagunzad is having... Well, no, Armesto is having some trouble with a lap down car who led him through, and he is now going up against Gillett, it seems. Or Velocity going off the track again, and rejoining in a very dangerous maneuver, honestly. That could have been avoided. But no, it seems like Armesto is actually catching up to Lagunzad. He's trying to close the gap. This is a mess. Everyone's been lapped, and Armesto spun out right in front of Velocity, who barely avoids him. He got the car started. Gillardini is holding back from passing him, because otherwise he'd get another blue flag and get Armesto to pass him again. So no point in overtaking him. Might as well just slow down and leave him be, I guess. As Armesto tries to recover from his mistake. This is a messy race. Everyone got lapped or got lapped multiple times. There's just massive gaps between, well, everybody really, but especially the most impressive gap is between the leader and Lagunzad in second place. that is 57 seconds between the first and second driver. So that's that's actually impressive. Kudos to Turri for pulling that off so well, despite the bad start with Guerrero taking P1 so soon. And meanwhile, it seems like, yeah, Bernardino is making his pit stop a bit quickly on the entrance, but that means that, yeah, that he's gonna have to take the pit, and maybe Potter is gonna be able to overtake him now. Could be. Meanwhile, it seems like Mikula is having some trouble from a lap down car who really doesn't want to give up that easy. Who is that? Oh, that is the lead car. I am sorry. Pascal is getting lapped. Or about to get lapped. That is... Wow, that would mean that the entire field, almost the entire field is going to get lapped. And there's still a bunch of laps left, so... Could we possibly see the entire field getting lapped? I don't know, but that would be very, very awesome if it actually happened. As Turri closes the gap with Mikula, both of them passing another lap down car. This is just amazing. I have never seen anything quite like this, honestly. Just the leader lapping almost everyone. If we can lap Mikula, he could have bragging rights for lapping everyone up to the podium, basically. This would be some pretty good bragging rights if you ask me. But it doesn't really seem like Mikula is gonna take that very kindly, because he's really trying his damn hardest to keep Turri at bay. Let's see if it works out on the start-finish straight. Turri seems to be drafting and moving over to the side, attempting to take the inside line, but he chickens out probably and goes back behind Mikula. I don't think it drafted enough to pull that. This is an interesting battle because you have first place battling with third place to get lapped. That is just the thought of it is so confusing, but at the same time exciting, because you're in third place. You really don't want to get lapped by the leader or get just, you know, a bigger gap than you already have. Not like there's any way of fixing this, but yeah. However, that could mean that if Mikula doesn't give up his position, since he doesn't want to get lapped, that might mean that Turri could be pressured into making a mistake, possibly costing him the lead if he loses parts of the bodywork like we've seen happen before. And Turri finally managed to overtake Mikula, as Mikula is just up to his bumper. He's not happy about that one. But Turri seems to be building enough of a gap to keep Mikula at bay. And yes, that means that the podium has been lapped, which means there's only one more person to lap, and then he's going to have the entire field a lap down, which would be an amazing feat to complete. That is just bonkers. Honestly, excuse me, that is just bonkers. I've never seen anything quite like this. This is just brilliant. However, it does seem like Mikula is really not happy about that one. He's just trying his damn hardest to catch up to Turri, but Turri's just so fast. It's unbelievable how fast he can drive that car. It's just insanity. Pure insanity, precision driving with very few mistakes, and the very few mistakes he's made that were so minor that he was able to fix them very, very quickly. So again, that's just That's just insane. I'm at a loss for words, honestly. I don't know what to say except that good job, Turri. That was just something else. We're gonna have to see if it laps the second place. That would just, I swear that would be amazing. And Potter is retired. Ernesto is in the pits, so is Mikula. What happened with Potter? Turn up that straight. He's turning. It's not turning enough. It's turning the other way. Oh, his car caught on fire. Okay. That was unfortunate. That was very unfortunate. This car just straight up caught on fire. How did that happen? I thought these cars were supposed to be somewhat more reliable than the cars we're used to. Meanwhile, it seemed like Gillett took the position away from Mikula. That was just... What happened? That was just so much going on in just a couple of seconds. His car catching on fire, Mikula losing his position to Gillett, and oh my god, that was something else. That was just something else. I have no idea what happened, but it seems like Mikula has managed to take the position, but Gillett is battling. This is going to be an interesting battle because the two of them are very good drivers. They're very fast drivers, and they know what they're doing. So this battle could drag up until the end of the race, basically. Assuming none of them make a big mistake, that is. Meanwhile, it seems like Gillett is able to keep Mikula at bay as we enter the start-finish straight. Let's see if Mikula is able to attack his opponent and get the overtake done, or if Gillett is able to close the gap, widen the gap, sorry. But it seems like Mikula is going for the overtake. He's taking the outside line and outbraking Gillett, but Gillett takes the inside. Mikula's braking point was all over the place, and they are now side by side. Just, oh my god, Mikula took his place again. But how long will it last as Gillett comes up for the inside and swerves back behind Mikula and widens the gap a bit more, squiggly on the exit. And this is an exciting battle. A battle for third place, sorry, between two cars that are a lap down from the leader, as Gillett just tries his hardest to catch up to Mikula and overtake him, but he's just too squiggly around the corners to do anything about it. And Mikula just completely shutting the door in front of him. However, Gillett has taken the inside line. And they are now side by side on the back straight. And Gillett manages to take the position away from Mikula. As they come around the S corner going uphill. And it seems like Mikula is again going for yet another attack. This battle is probably going to drag out until the end of the race. So this is amazing. They are now bumper to bumper as they go towards the start-finish straight. Let's see if Mikula can pull off an overtake maneuver here. They're very, very, very close together. And Mikula is now going to take the racing line. However, Gillett is on the inside again, shutting the door in front of Mikula and essentially cancelling his overtake. And it seems like we're coming down to a couple of lap down cars that have managed to overtake Potter, who has retired a couple of minutes ago now. With Gillett and Mikula still bumper to bumper, still going side to side through the straights. still battling for that position. But these two lap-down cars, who are the Ghilardini and Velocity, they might spell trouble for them. As someone goes off the track, that would be Bernardino going off the track. Which means Velocity overtook him. Ghilardini manages to get both cars past him safely. So at least there's that. And Gillett is widening the gap with Mikula on that straight. And now they're going to have to deal with Velocity, who is a lap down as well.
We just received the question what lap we're on. It's actually currently the leaders on lap 28 out of 34. So we got 7 laps to go. 7 laps to go, and that means in 7 laps we're done with the feature race.
Yep, that would be not much time to get really anything done, except for Mikkel and Gillett, who are still battling one another as they have Velocity in front of them, just kind of plugging the street for them. Meaning that they're gonna have to deal with that real soon if they want to do anything about all this. And it seems like Velocity is pulling over to the side to let both cars pass. Let's see. Yep, both cars have gone around that corner and Velocity fairly safely. Seems like Gillett is going a bit squiggly. No idea if it's because of the tires, a mechanical problem, or just the setup of his car. But, ooh, a big oversteering moment for Mikula, who managed to save the car. But, unfortunately, the gap has been widened between him and Gillett. Let's see if he's able to do anything about that. Because, again, as I said earlier, too much pressure when driving these cars. If you're under too much pressure, you're going to make a mistake, and these cars... They don't forgive you. They're not going to forgive you. So, you make a mistake, you're done for. It's really kind of like Formula 5000. Except with even more downforce and with an even smaller cars. Mikula just squiggles about the road. We are now coming up to the start-finish straight. Let's see if Mikula is able to at least close the gap a little bit with Gillett on this straight, coming up to the first corner. But it seems like Gillett is managing to outdrive his opponent right now and building enough of a gap to the point where he's not going to be in any trouble anytime soon. However, it seems like Mikula is catching up through the corners, through the bendy bits, through the very fast corners. And they are now, again, bumper to bumper, as Mikula locks up and almost understeer, and he spun out! He spun his car around while attempting to overtake Gillett, it seems. That was unfortunate. That means that third place is officially in the pocket of Gillett. If it doesn't do anything about it, unless he catches up to him fairly quickly, which seems to be the case, as we go across this the back straight and into the uphill pass, as I like to call it, as Mikula's car is a bit squiggly, and as he lifts off again on that hill. I swear, this track is just a dangerous place, honestly. Your car takes off on some of these hills, and you don't see the corners. That could spell trouble. Either way, it seems like Mikula is not giving up on his position, and he is trying his hardest to catch up to Gillett and close the gap. They are now back on the start-finish straight. Let's see if Mikula is able to draft enough to close the gap and get him in a better position to attempt an overtake. However, it seems like Gillett is able to carry more speed through the corners now. Could be just my impression, but yeah, it does seem like Gillett is able to carry more speed around the corners than Mikula. So if Mikula wants to overtake Gillett, he's gonna have to do it on a straight. Just drafting him and then going for the attack on a straight. Because otherwise doing it in a corner could end up badly, because this car is not able to turn as quickly as Gillett, it seems. I see that, and as he's closing the gap on the straight, not enough to cause any trouble to Gillett, but still enough to put some pressure on him. As he come uphill now, and into the jumpy bit. Yep, he's lifted off again. And he's attempting to close the gap on this straight now, the last straight before the last corner. He's taking the inside line, but Gillett shuts the door right in front of him across the last corner and going for the start-finish straight. Let's see. Is Mikula going to be able to draft enough to get enough speed to overtake Gillett? It seems like it is. They are now side by side, and Mikula might be taking the position because he's on the inside line, and they've gone around the corner side by side. However, it wasn't enough for Mikula to overtake Gillett and finish that maneuver and take his position away. It seems like Gillett was able, despite being on the outside, to shut the door in front of Mikula. However, they are now side by side to that corner again. With, oh my god, Gillett just touched Mikula's car a little bit with his front wing. I really hope that doesn't cause a puncture later on. And that was very dangerous. The cars were side by side around the corner, meaning that if you mess up, you're going to crash into the other guy, and that's not very good. Meanwhile, Gillett seems to be taking the inside line again and overtaking Mikula for this back straight. This is just a magnificent battle. This is just... They're just... It's like watching two drunk guys punch each other at the bar. It's so entertaining to watch. It's the stuff that keeps you glued to the chair, honestly. As Gillett seems to be attempting to widen the gap even more, but Mikula's car lifts off again just by the sheer amount of speed, and Gillett spun out! He spun out! It finally happened. One of them made a mistake, and it was indeed Gillett that did the mistake. He spun out on that corner, possibly carrying too much speed or locking up the rear brakes, which costed him the position and a pretty wide gap. And he also seems to have hit the barrier with the side of his car. Not sure if that would spell mechanical problems or rather suspension problems with his car. However, Gillett is back at it again.
It looks like he has suspension damage because he has to turn a little bit to the left to keep going straight. So his suspension may have taken a hit.
Ooh,
But
that's not good.
let me tell you one thing, that surely didn't make him give up because he's still at full speed.
Yeah, he is right behind you, man. I would focus on the race.
Power Mesto's in the pits.
Again
for the third time.
I mean, the car behind him is a lap down, so it doesn't really matter now, does it?
And Lorenzo Turi is about to enter his final lap.
Yep. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to lap the
Now we're in the
driver in
final
second place. That would have been magnificent to watch. However,
Although he's pretty damn close, honestly. He's only about 15 seconds behind Lagonsad. Oh, and
Yes.
Joe is off again.
yeah, I was about to say, sorry to interrupt, but Gillett spun out again. I think that suspension trouble is really giving him problems now, as he seems to struggle to even keep the car straight. Look at it, it's crabbing. His car is crabbing along the track. That's not very good, especially for a car that can do 300 kilometers an hour.
Nope. Anyway.
He took off.
Looks like everyone is in their positions. Logunsad is on his final lap. I'm about to start my final lap, and Joe Gillette is on his final lap as well, almost. So we're in the final lap, and the standings are going to be Turi is going to win, Logunsad second, myself third, Joe Gillette fourth, Power Mesto is going to finish fifth, Steve Velocity is going to be in the top six, Bernardino in seventh, Gillardini eighth, and then the retirements are going to be Potter with fire, so probably an engine failure, Oboyski who crashed out, probably, Juan Guerrero who lost connection, Arturo Smaglia who, I don't know, crashed out or something, and Matthew Sebagnoni who crashed out.
Smyga spun
speaking of
out
which,
and then left. So
okay,
it
well,
might have been
speaking of
engine
which,
trouble.
final corner for Lorenzo Turi, who takes the win on the future race for the GP2 Bahrain Series round. Well done, congratulations for him. Bernardino is also finished now. Next car who will be crossing the start-finish line is Pau Amesto.
That was some magnificent driving from Turri.
Oh, and Joe
Ooh.
behind me spins again. Unfortunate. That
Yeah,
suspension
again,
damage really took it.
yeah, that suspension damage really messed this race up. As Turri pulls over outside of the track and pits into the garage now that he's finished the race.
Paramesto's crossing the finish line. Very good for him. 5th place. Those are valuable points.
I was hoping for Turri to lap the 2nd place. It was so close to it. Just look at the gap.
Yeah, only
it's
about 10 to 15.
seconds.
Yeah, just about that.
Just 10, 15 seconds more, and then it would have lapped the entire field, which would be an amazing fit. Not saying that what is just done isn't an impressive feat, mind you, but you know, that still takes some attributes of skill to pull something like that off. Anyway, I've got a message that Oboyski wants to give us an interview.
Pull him in.
Yes, I would, if it was in the... Oh, there he is. I will pull him in a couple of seconds then, as we watch the last car, Gillardini, cross the finish line, hopefully.
Actually... Lorenzo Turi's fire. It's eerie.
That was faster than some people's quali laps. Oh my god, Gillardini just smashed this car up. Probably out of frustration.
His race pace is faster than everyone else's qualifying pace. Sorry, but
that was brilliant.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Anyway, so we got the results now. The top 8 are gonna be reversed, so that means Simone Gillardini will start from pole position for the sprint race.
Well, that was really something. Now we have Matthew Oboyski about to join us into the commentator booth to give us a bit of an interview and explain to us what happened. Let me pull him in real quick. How do I do that? Oh, there we go. Hello, Matthew.
Mic check for Matthew.
Hello.
There you go.
Welcome. You are live in the booth. So,
howdy.
You mentioned something to me. You wanted to explain what happened?
Yep. On lap 1 coming around one of the turns, I don't remember which one. I was tailing Bernardino, and he must have had a little spin, and I wasn't quick enough, and I bumped him, took off my wing, and it damaged my radiator, so went and took a pit and got a new wing. On the way out, I realized my radiator was damaged, and that pretty much limited me for the laps that I could get in, because I couldn't hit top speed without overheating. So I babied it for as long as I could, and I started getting sloppy. I figured it was time to pull over and force an update.
Well, that's very unfortunate. That is actually very unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear about your radiator, but what did you think of the race?
Great race.
Besides
I was just
the
having fun
crash.
driving. Other than that, great. Wonderful. Good turnout today.
Oh, brilliant.
All right.
And I'm
any
ready
last
for
words?
the second half.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's have a look because the server's just being reset right now. Um,
Attention.
for
Start your engine.
the
30 seconds to
sprint
start.
race.
Right on. Well, I gotta go hop back in my car, so have a
Well,
good one.
good luck then,
Thank you.
and have
All
fun.
right, let's have a look. I'll skip right ahead. We'll have a quick smoke break. I'll quickly race length 124.
So, how much time do we have before the race starts?
Let's make it about. Hold on, 24 laps. Okay, everything is done. We have about, well, let's say 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, then there's enough time for me to grab an ice cream.
All right. Anyway, I will have a look at the race results and I will type them up so we can have a quick look at what was it. SR. Is it this? Oh, it's not.
Very well then. While we get everything else set up, we're gonna take a little break and come back once the race starts. Is that correct, Pascal?
Yes. Once I set
Perfect.
everything up, we have everything under. Gonna go back underway. So, I will have to have a look at the race results file because the batch file didn't save. So, grumpy me is grumpy. But well, we know Lorenzo Turi won with, quite dominatingly, and that means we have him starting 8th in the sprint race later today. Later today being about in 10 minutes, or let's say about 15 minutes.
Give or take, yeah.
Give or take. I think I mean the thing is I need to find the results file so I can type up the batch. Let me just take this thing, copy paste, call it sprint.
With Torre starting in 8th place, is he
Oh,
gonna
that's
be able
going.
to?
He's gonna be in the lead at the big. He's gonna be in the lead almost immediately. I can tell you that.
He's not like Hamilton, where if he doesn't qualify in P1, he's not gonna be in P1. He's not gonna finish the race in P1. Is that what you're
Well, I
saying?
mean, given that Turi is on average about 2.5 to 3 seconds faster than everyone else. Yeah.
Fair enough, I guess.
So Simona Gillardini. Then we have who else? Anderson Bernardino starting 2nd for the sprint race. 3rd will be Steve Velocity. 4th for the sprint race will be Pau Armesto. 5th will be Joe Gillett. 6th will be myself. 7th will be our friend from the Philippines, Andre Lagunzad. 8th will be Lorenzo Turi. 9th, I said, will be Owen Potter. 10th will be Matthew Oboyski. 11th, I said, will be Juan Guerrero. So he has some stuff to do. 12th, if he shows up, will be Arturo Smaglia.
Yep, there he
13th,
is.
there he is. Well done. Matthew Cipagnoni will start 13th. And the rest will simply line up as we go.
It also seems like Gomez has joined us.
Yep,
For the
Lucas
race.
Gomez has joined us. Who else?
Is he allowed to race? He missed the other.
Yeah, no, he'll just start from the back.
Ah, okay, fair enough. At least we have one more opponent to play with.
Yeah.
That means that the field is going to be a bit messier with one extra car, possibly. That's going to be interesting.
Yep. So we're missing, I think, one person. I'm not sure. I need to load my setup again.
It would be nice to get some interviews done right now, but the drivers are already out on the track.
Definitely.
So
The question was how long. We got a question. How long is the sprint race? 24 laps. Sprint race will be 24 laps, and yes. Who were we missing? Alessio Tasco, who said he won't be there for the feature race. Let's see if he's there.
it seems like Lorenzo has gathered quite a fan base. There's a couple of Italians in chat. Just cheering him on. That's good to see. These are the things I like about sim racing. Just a bunch of guys having fun on a track and then having your friends watch you and cheer for you. That's a nice part.
Yeah, well,
I'm not entirely sure if the drivers can actually see the chat or even hear us, but still. It feels nice.
yeah, anyway,
Right. While we wait for this practice run to, are we gonna get another? No, we're not gonna get another qualifying because we've already got the grid. So we just have
Yep.
the practice.
Exactly, so we have a 10-minute coffee and toilet break.
Perfect. Just
Well,
what I
we-
needed.
And that I think Paimon, our director Paimon, I'm asking him if you still got the advertisings and all that stuff we made for Indy. Play them. Let's just play all of them until we're getting back to racing.
We've got commercials.
Yeah, we made commercials for Indy.
Whoa, that's awesome. I
Yeah,
want to see
anyway.
them.
Anyway, so we'll be back in 7 minutes. We'll start the sprint race for the GP2 race here in Bahrain.
Very well then, I guess we'll see each other after this short little break.
Fresh baked bread, piled with extra lean, juicy ham. Oven roasted turkey breast, topped with the classic taste of...
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon? But of course.
Introducing Subway's new Turkey and Ham Dijon. Turkey, ham, and the great taste of Grey Poupon mustard, now for a limited time on your choice of rolls. At Subway, the place where fresh is the taste.
One of the ways Ryder makes your move easier is by renting trucks with automatic transmission. Because moving doesn't have to be an uphill battle. Ryder, we're there when you need us.
Starts behind the eyes, goes behind the head.
I guess they're stress headaches. I get them right here.
My head is just getting tighter.
You're clenching your teeth.
My daughter does help contribute to my headache.
For fast relief of tough headache pain, now there's extra strength Tylenol gel tabs. All the power of extra strength Tylenol combined with innovative gel coat technology. Nothing works faster.
It goes away really, really quick.
I feel clear-headed again.
Work fast for me.
Tylenol gel tabs, the newest form of powerful pain relief.
Works.
Presenting Bandit. Pound for pound, he uses more energy than most dogs twice his size. That's why we make Mighty Dog. It has the perfect balance of nutrients he needs. It makes your dog a Mighty Dog.
At your local True Value, finding someone to help you isn't a problem. Something that just can't be said of those enormous hardware warehouses. Find them, boys! This month at True Value, a twin pack of Red Devil Lifetime caulk is just $1.99, and our True Test True Seal waterproofing is just $4.98 a gallon. True Value. Help is just around the corner.
NBC's Sunday Night Movie will return following these messages.
Now the Martin Short press conference continues.
Yes!
I forgot what I was going to say. What was your question?
Martin Short comes to NBC Tuesdays this fall.
At Geo, we've thought a lot about safety. That's why Geo Prism comes with standard dual airbags and available anti-lock brakes. In addition, it's equipped with a rugged steel safety cage. You see, we not only want to make accidents easier to avoid, we also want to make them easier to walk away from.
Call 1-800-GET-TO-KNOW and get to know Geo Prism with over 100 standard safety features.
Want to spice up your summer? Win a week at the WMMR Taco Bell Beach House and a chance to win a trip to Cancun, Mexico. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Now open late. To register, just stop by any participating Taco Bell restaurant or send a postcard with your name, address, and daytime phone number to WMMR Taco Bell Beach House. P.O. Box 1767, Philadelphia, PA 19106. From the station that reaches the beaches, 93.3 WMMR.
All right, we're back. This little title break actually did everyone well. Lucas Gomez is on track during the first practice of the week. We'll see how he fares. We'll have about 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left to go until the feature race.
Seems like Gomez broke his engine already.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
he
not
did.
good.
I thought these cars were supposed to be reliable.
Well, kinda. I don't know. Well, then again, if you run with maximum rev limit the whole time, you know.
Yeah, fair enough, I guess.
I mean, for the second race, I set my rev limiter a little bit higher, simply so I can reach my top speed. Like, the thing is, I had such a hard time battling Joe, because we both had the same top speed, even when I was in his slipstream.
Oh yeah, I was about to ask you.
Because I ran out of gear. Like, I hit the limiter at 200, like at 295.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you actually, how did your race go? How did you feel the car? How did the track?
Oh no. Yeah. The thing is, I mean, not only is the fact that you have someone who's like 4 seconds a lap faster than than everyone else, and just pulling things you think are kind of impossible after like weeks of practice. That's kind of demoralizing, number one. But then again, I'm not trying to badmouth what Lorenzo did. He is absolutely deserved that win. But that already puts a bit of a turned off my light. There we go. That's a little bit of a moral. It kind of puts a brick on your moral ground, basically. But in general, I the tires went faster than I thought. Like, I pitted around the lap 12 or 13 to put some fuel in to adjust my front wing, and so on. Wait a second.
So overall, would you say this was a good
It
first
was
race?
well, I finished ahead of Joe. And that's the important thing because we're fighting for the Gold Star Championship. So.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I can see that.
Anyway, so we have about 40 seconds until we go back to the warm-up, so I can set the grid and we can go. But yeah, the race is just these cars, like the thing is, the rear tires especially, they just go really, really fast. Like when you think about it, the once your tires go below a certain point as far as the grip level goes, it's really just like driving on ice.
And considering this car are rear engine and rear wheel drive, that's a recipe for a disaster.
Yep.
Especially if you lose your rear wing, like it's happened a couple of times in the race already.
Okay, let's have a quick look. Is anyone missing? Doesn't look like it. The grid is set. Quick briefing. And we are about to go to the sprint. No mandatory pit stop. However, it is still 24 laps, so if you want to pit, you can, to go for like stuff like alternate strategy.
It's almost spun out just getting out of the pits.
Well, I don't know who's actually currently trying to get out of the pits, but let's go.
Attention.
Okay, so we are, well, essentially ready to start. Ghilardini is in P1, followed by Bernardino, Velocity, Armesto. Gillett takes 5th position, followed by Mikula. Then we have Lagunzad. And in 8th place, we have Turri, which was the leader of the last race, or most of the last race, actually. After him, we got Potter, who retired. Oboisky, who also retired. Guerrero, who retired. Smaya, Sibagnoni, and then Gomez joined us later. And there they go. This is the formation lap. Yep, that is the formation lap underway.
Looks like Power Mesto didn't get away out of the garage. He's still in the garage, so he will be relegated to a pit lane start.
Yep, seems like it.
Unfortunate because he's in 4th position, but he will start last now.
Yeah,
and hello to YouTube chat. Seawolf, welcome. This is the sprint race, 24 laps. So let's see how this goes.
Oh, hello,
Simone Ghilardini from Italy will lead us on our merry way, and Lorenzo Turri is on his mission to win both races today, which he's entirely capable of doing. Let's not kid ourselves here.
Yeah, just seeing how the last race went, I wouldn't be surprised if he took the first
well,
place.
He won by almost a whole lap. So yeah. let's not kid ourselves here.
Almost a whole lap on the 2nd place. That was amazing, Jesus.
Hmm.
Okie dokie. Now the cars are on the back straight, some of them at least. And soon we are going to get the proper race start. So, the first 8 position, the first 8 cars that finished the last race are gonna have their position reversed, and that's gonna be the starting grid for this sprint race, the 24 laps sprint race.
One thing I'm
So that
wondering
makes
is
it
where's Steve Velocity? He's right behind Ghilardini, isn't he? He overtook Bernardino. That's not good. You're not supposed to overtake cars on the formation lap.
I have no idea what happened. Bernardino seems to be driving very slow though.
Well, yeah, it's just a formation lap. It's not really a race lap. But anyway, onto the grid we go. I have a bit of an advantage because I've got no one in front of me, since Armesto is gonna be starting from the pit lane.
So you might have a better chance at a good start.
Yep. Let's see how this goes. We got starters orders almost. The cars are coming to the grid. Power Mesto's ignition is on, so he is watching from the pit lane. Not sure why he's not. Yeah. Anyway, starters orders. Lights are coming on. 1, 3, 4, go!
And the lights are off, and Gomez seems to have had a terrible start as someone bounces onto the wall. That was Bernardino, seems like. All the cars are bunched up for the first corner. This could mean trouble. Yep,
Oh, we got a yellow
just
flag.
rolled over.
Oh, that's in.
Sibayoni just rolled over and lost
Joe
his family.
Gillett's car is smoking.
And he's in the lead. He's not going to last long in the lead, I think.
Not sure what's gonna happen. He's not sure why he's
is
smoking.
still in the pits, by the way.
Yep, Sibayoni is retired.
Yeah, I mean, he rolled his car immediately. Like, he did a front flip with that car, mind you. That was something else.
I'm not sure why Joe's car is smoking, but he seems to be losing power or something because he is relegated to second place now.
Yeah, I think he's having engine trouble. His spotter goes wide around that corner.
Oh, he is definitely. Oh, there's something wrong with Gillett's car.
Yeah, I think I think it's breaking down.
Oh, that's very unfortunate for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I sound very smug when I say that because I'm currently in the lead, but it is really. I mean, look, I'm overtaking him for the lead. I'm just like, oh, that's very unfortunate.
Oh, how unfortunate, he says as he drives
like, I'm not.
past
It's
Gillett.
not. I don't mean to sound like an absolute cockhead, but it really is unfortunate because I was looking forward to a fight with him. A very like a gentlemanly fight on track.
Like you've had earlier.
Yep, but he's now down to 4th place. No, 3rd place. No, 4th place. So he's okay. He is in a fight.
It seems like his car stopped smoking, and he's now battling between 3 other cars for a position. I don't know why he went wide there. He lost whatever he was trying to do. It didn't work out for him because he lost 2 positions.
Well, if he's still running, at least that's good because then his engine has remembered that it's supposed to go fast, not go boom.
True, yeah, but still, he did pull a very weird maneuver and lost 2 positions. And meanwhile, Ghilardini has been immediately relegated to 7th place, and he is now fighting with Lagunzad for that position. They are now bumper to bumper as Lagunzad goes up the inside and overtakes him. However, he goes too fast, wide, off the track, and Ghilardini manages to take his position back. Turri is in 4th position, battling with Smaglia, so we have a battle between a couple of Italians here for 3rd place, it seems, yeah. And they are bumper to bumper. And knowing Turri, he is gonna... Let's not kid ourselves, he's gonna overtake Smaglia. I'm sorry, Smaglia, but that's just what's gonna happen, knowing... After seeing what Turri did in the previous race. I'd be surprised if he doesn't, end up in 1st place. Although I say that, but Mikula is still in P1, and Guerrero is unable to close the gap. As they go to the start-finish straight. Is Turri going to attempt an overtake here? maybe Guerrero is going up on the inside of Mikula and has taken the lead from him. However, Mikula goes side by side, and Guerrero spins out.
Oh no, that's not. Oh, oops.
Guerrero spun out,
Own
costing him
Potter's
the
in the
lead.
pits.
Potter is in the pits.
Yes, he may have suffered damage. I don't know what happened there with him, but he is in the pits. He's now down.
Turri spun out. Turri spun out and
Was the
almost
first
crashed
mistake?
into. Oh my god! Almost crashed into Guerrero. Guerrero spun out again, trying to avoid Turri. But Turri is now up into third place.
Well, if Turi spun out already, that's the first mistake he's made all weekend, and he's still third.
Yep. Also, it seems like Ernesto is finally out of the pits.
With two laps behind the leaders, he has finally started the race. Yes.
I have no idea what happened.
He may have just overslept. I don't know. Well, look, the thing is, we had a 10-minute toilet break. Maybe his toilet break took more than 10 minutes.
Let's not delve into that, shall we?
Yeah, I mean it is possible, but you know, let's not throw stones in a glass house, if I may call it that.
Yes. Anyways, it seems like Toure is catching up to Smaya at an incredible rate, while Smaya is losing ground to our lead, Mikula. Everybody else seems to be somewhat evenly spaced out, actually. I was expecting a lot more bunching up, but I guess that first crash into turn one might have been enough to break that big group into smaller ones and space everything out evenly, it seems like. Meanwhile, we are on board with Guerrero, trying to battle with Lagunza, who is very far away from him, shall I say, as they go into the first corner and the second corner. But Guerrero is just unable to close the gap between him and Lagunzad, who is in 5th place. And it seems like Potter has retired just now. I don't know what happened. Oh dear. It seems like Potter has spun out. Yep, he spun out. And possibly... Oh, God. My God, it just completely destroyed his car and crashed it into the wall. I have no idea why he spun out, but that was very unfortunate, and that was a very, very big crash. Meanwhile, it seems like Gomez is going for a pit stop already. It hasn't even been 5 laps, if not mistaken. No idea why he's getting a pit stop done right now, but I digress. Let's see what's going on at the rest of the track. Turri is just closing the gap so quickly with Smaya, and Smaya's gone off the track. And he spun off the track, and Turri took his position, so that means that there's nobody between him and Pascal. So Mikula might be in trouble now because he's got Turri right behind him. Meanwhile, it seems like Gillett has managed to get back up into 4th position, just a second behind Smaya, who spun out essentially in front of him. Lagunzad and Guerrero are side by side into the first corner. Gillett is sideways and they spun out. Lagunzad is forced to go off the track to avoid a crash, while Guerrero takes the inside line, and now Gillett is having to battle with Ghilardini. I am not entirely sure what happened, but the smoke in Gillett's car is back. I think he's having engine troubles and possibly suspension trouble because he's been spinning out a bunch right now. No idea why that happened, but that is unfortunate for Gillett, who managed to get all the way back up into 4th place, but is now in 7th. Meanwhile, Guerrero seems to have lost the position to Lagunzad. Yep, he spun out. That's what I thought. He spun out on that corner. Cold tires tend to do that, I guess. And let's see. Bernardino is fighting with Velocity for 8th place as they come along the back straight. Doesn't seem like Bernardino is able to close the gap with Velocity. Sad, sad times for Bernardino. As they go around the uphill corners. Bernardino is trying really hard and is off the track, and Velocity spun out. I'm not sure if they touched or anything, but Velocity spun out. Bernardino went off the track, avoided causing an accident, and took his position. Meanwhile, it seems like Ghilardini and Gillette are battling as well for, what is that, 6th place as they go around the first corner. Gillette really getting close to that car, but simply not being able to either maintain the position, or he doesn't have enough power to complete the overtake, especially considering that his engine sometimes is making smoke, and Ghilardini spun out. Commentator scores, everybody. I have no idea what just happened. I just know that Gillette is having some engine trouble, but he seems to be keeping up with everybody else. There might be something wrong with his car, something weird. Either way, Ghilardini spun out and lost that position to Gillette. So Gillette can now battle his way up to 5th when he eventually catches up with Guerrero. In the meantime, the gap between Mikula and Turri is now 3.4 seconds. So Turri is indeed closing the gap as fast as possible between him and Mikula, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're gonna see an overtake very soon. As they go on to the start-finish straight. It seems like Turri is just simply carrying more speed around the corners. He's probably less scared to go around corners at higher speeds than everybody else, which would explain why he's able to carry so much speed around these corners. But whatever it is that he's doing, it's working, because the gap is now 2.1 seconds. So he is indeed closing the gap at almost inhumane speeds. That really is something, huh? Meanwhile, it seems like Lagunzad and Guerrero are very close together. Yep, there they are, as they go along the... Is that the back straight? No, that is not the back straight, I am sorry. I sometimes get lost on this track. Guerrero is trying to get Lagunzad's position. Probably he is not really happy about the mistake he's made earlier. So he's probably just trying to make up for it. Meanwhile, Velocity has retired. And so did Ernesto. What happened there? We've got Velocity and Ernesto who retired. Seems like he's actually been retired for a while now. So it seems like he's gone onto the corner for the back straight and spun out, and he just retired from there. Huh? That was weird. Probably stole the car or broke the engine in some way while spinning out. Either way, Guerrero has finally managed to get the position away from Lagunzad. But Lagunzad is not letting that go very easily, as he is right behind Guerrero. Not happy about what just happened. And it also seems like Turri is 0.6 of a second behind Mikula. There's a couple of interesting battles going on, honestly. Lagunzad and Guerrero, Turri and Mikula. Lagunzad went off the track a little bit, trying to cut the corner. And now it seems like Guerrero is managing to widen the gap a little bit because of that mistake. And Turri is overtaking Pascal, but Pascal almost rear-ends him as they fly literally across that straight piece, jumping the car into the corner, bumper-to-bumper racing. This is absolutely nuts. This is actually nuts. Look at them go. They're just so close to each other because remember, both of them are very good drivers. As Mikula goes on the inside because Tori made a mistake and then it's gone wide, squiggling a little bit, losing the tail end. But that was an amazing feat. But will Tori recover from the mistake he just made? He was pressured quite a lot by Pascal, and he eventually just lost the car. So I don't know if he's going to be able to make that up. I mean, while we are on board of Lagunzad, we're still trying to catch up with Guerrero, but it seems like he is unable to. Meanwhile, it also seems like the gap between Lagunzad and Gillett is actually widening, indicating that Gillett might actually be having some engine trouble since he is unable to catch up with the 5th place. However, that means that Lagunzad has more breathing room. He doesn't have anyone behind him that can mess his race up. Meanwhile, Turri is again catching up with Mikula. The gap is now 0.9 seconds, meaning that at any time Turri could overtake Pascal, since the cars are that close. So now it's just a question of if anyone's going to make a mistake now, or if Turri is going to be crazy enough to pull it off, and he did. He actually did. He managed to pull off the overtake just before the last corner as he spins out and Mikula crashes into him a little bit. Meanwhile, it seems like Oboiski is smoking. Who's the last car driving? I don't know. Either way, Pascal and Turri are extremely close together. They are now side by side as they approach the first corner. Mikula taking the inside line and Turri going wide, costing him the position. Oh god, that was unfortunate for Turri. He worked so hard for that position, but Mikula managed to snatch it back from him, and he is now in P1. However, Turri is still very, very close to Pascal, as the gap is just 0.9 seconds again, which just means that it's a matter of time before Turri attempts another overtake. There they go along the back straight. Turri is able to close the gap a little bit more with each corner as they go around the uphill section, jumping the cars on top of the hill. The gap is now 0.3 seconds. They are literally bumper to bumper now. Will he attempt an overtake here? He is. He's gonna go for the inside line on the last corner. Let's see. Mikula manages to shut the door in front of him, but he goes wide. And that costed him the position. Turri is now in P1. And he is now able to build a large enough gap between him and Mikula. I wonder how long he's gonna hold on to that position now, seeing as how the rest of the race went. We might see Mikula attempt to take P1 back. Who knows? But either way, that was a brilliant overtake, a brilliant maneuver. Sad about the mistake Mikula made on the last corner, going wide and a little bit off the track. That costed him the pole position. However, that's what racing is. You don't really have room for mistakes. You have to focus on what you're doing. You have to essentially pray that you're not going to make a mistake or that your car doesn't give up, like in Gillett's case, and it seems like Oboiski is just coming out of nowhere. I have no idea what just happened there, but I digress. Where was I? Oh yeah, you make a mistake, and it's going to cost you the position, especially if you are very close to one another. That's just a given. And then you have cars like this, which are already hard to drive, they don't have any driving assist, they don't have traction control or ABS, you just have 600 horsepower out of a 4-liter V8 motor mounted at the back of the car, powering the rear wheels, and that's all you get. If you mess up, you're done. You don't have room for mistakes, as I said earlier. And also you have a fairly complicated track to be driving on, because you don't always see the corners coming up, because they are behind the hill. You have to go over the crest in order to see the corner, and that can mean trouble. Meanwhile, it seems like Oboyski is pitting, and we are 5 cars down. I've just noticed Gomez has retired as well. He probably retired a while ago now. And this just goes back to show that these cars are not easy to drive. You have to focus on what you're doing. It's kind of like Formula 5000. You have to know what you're doing, because the cars are very, very, very unforgiving. There is no room for mistakes with these cars. And that mistake Mikola made earlier really costed him the position, because now Turi is just building a massive gap. It's just setting down the flagstones for it, as the gap is now 3.2 seconds. In the meantime, the battle between Lagunzad and Guerrero is still going on. They are about a second and a half between one another. But Guerrero is not giving up on that position that he took earlier, and that messed up. So I don't think he's particularly happy about that one. I don't think either of them are happy about what has happened so far in their battle, since they've both made very big mistakes that costed them, both of them, their position, and now they are both back to square one. Meanwhile, it seems like Mikola is pitting, so that could mean that Smaya is gonna take his position. And yes it did. Smaya is taking Pascal's position. Meanwhile, Lagunzad and Guerrero are still very close to one another. Guerrero really trying to overtake him as he goes for the attack on the entrance to the first corner, and he does it, but he messes up, goes wide, and gets rear-ended a little bit by Lagunzad. Both of them are now in 3rd and 4th place. Mikola dropped down to 5th place, but is too far ahead of Gillett to be in any real trouble. And it also seems like Pascal is catching up fairly quickly to Guerrero and Lagunzad, who are currently distracted by their battle. Which means Mikola could strike at any point and take both of them out, which would be quite epic if that actually happened. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, Guerrero is driving very, very aggressively, and Lagunzad is just trying his best to defend his position. But I'm gonna call it early. Turi's got this in his pocket again. There's just 15 seconds between him and 2nd place, almost 16. Wouldn't be surprised if he wins this one as well. Now, back to what's on your screen. Guerrero is still not giving up. That man is really determined. He's really determined. However, I think he didn't see Pascal approaching in his rearview mirror, albeit slowly, but he's still catching up to them. That could be in trouble as Guerrero attempts another overtake, taking up the inside line, inside the first corner, and he spun out. He spun his car out, meaning he lost that battle. He was the one who made the mistake in that battle, and it costed him a position because now Mikola is in 4th place. Guerrero is still about 35 seconds ahead of Gillett, so it's not too bad. Could have been worse, honestly. but you still got plenty of time to catch up with Mikula and Lagunzad. However, it seems like Mikula is now not really able to catch up with Lagunzad. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised since Lagunzad lost his opposition. He is now able to focus more on his driving, get a clean lap going, and build a gap with Mikula. Because that's kind of how you gotta do it. Driving fast doesn't mean a fast lap. Driving clean means a fast lap. And if you drive clean and consistently clean, you're gonna end up building a gap. And that gap's gonna save your position. Which I think is what's happening right now, because the gap between the two of them seems to be stable at about right around 2 seconds, I would say. So we're gonna have to see if Mikula's car setup is better for the straights, and if he's able to catch up. Well, it seems like Guerrero is actually losing ground. So he might have had some trouble when he spun out. I don't know, but he is.
No, he's pitting.
Right now.
He is pitting.
He's pitting. Yeah.
He must have killed his tires.
Yeah, that might be what happened because I saw the gap building up, and now I just noticed that it's pitting. So it might have been that, probably tire trouble or puncture. Either way, Torre has now lapped 2 cars, and how many laps are left? Okay.
10
anyways,
laps left. 10 laps
10
left.
laps.
Lap 15.
They're now on lap 15. There's 10 laps left. I think he's going to be able to lap a couple more cars, I think.
Well, at least Ghilardini, maybe even Guerrero.
Oh, Ghilardini absolutely is right behind him and he's pitted, so of course he's going to lap him. He might have a chance at lapping Guerrero and possibly Gillette, since they're very close to one another. Well, it seems like the gap between Mikula and Lagunzad is somewhat stable. Mikula ever so slightly catching up and then dropping off. Seems to be very stable. Again, Lagunzad lost all of his competition, so again, just a clean race, and he's gonna be able to keep the gap going. However, it seems like the gap between Turri and Smaya is getting even wider. So, you know, again, another superhuman driver, I guess. Kind of like how we've had the other battle with the other race, with the, what was it, the Formula 5000 at Fruxton? With the Professor and the Underdog, I think they were called. As they were just battling for that position, and one of them managed to keep their cool and keep their position. And it wasn't the Professor. Sadly, the Professor managed to stay in front of the other guy for half the race, I want to say, almost. But eventually, he made a mistake that costed him the position. Same can be said about this race. You make a mistake, it costs you a position. So the trick is, as usual, trying to get a clean lap going. A clean race, and keep it consistent. As Mikula literally flies off. Okay. that is a very interesting corner. You're not really touching the ground when you were supposed to brake. Meanwhile, it seems like Guerrero and Gillette are battling for 5th place. Guerrero is not happy about the mistake he made earlier, and Gillette's car is still smoking quite heavily. I think it's an oil starvation problem, I want to say. I have no idea what's going on. I don't know how long that car is going to last, but Guerrero is taking advantage of Gillette's car troubles to catch up to him, and I guess we're going to see an overtake soon. As they go along the final straight, side to side, into the last corner, and Guerrero has taken the position. I think Gillet's car is just unable to keep the power down all the time. Which means he's not going to be able to defend the position. Look at the smoke that car is making. It's like a smoke grenade. As he is bumper to bumper with Guerrero, taking the inside line, attempting to overtake him on the first corner, but he just lacks the power to do it, and Guerrero shuts the door right in front of him, still being bumper to bumper across the first straight, and into that very, very tight corner. Gillette takes the inside line again, manages to overtake Guerrero, but how long is it going to last? That is the question. Because if Gillett is having engine trouble, he's not going to be able to hold that position for very long. I say that, and Guerrero is already back at it on his bumper, and it seems like there's some debris on the track. And Oboyski retired. What happened? Something must have happened to Oboyski. I think the debris was from his car. He does drive a Red Bull car, right? What happened?
No, that Red Bull debris is mine. Simone Ghilardini was spun after the hairpin. Turn 7, I think it was, turn 6. And in sympathy with him, I spun as well.
Oh, that was nice of you.
And I crashed into him, and we both lost our rear wings. And I also lost my front wing, so both of us need to pit. I'm currently in the pit. I'm gonna lose some positions here, but, you know, unfortunate for both of us.
What happened to Oboyski then?
Not sure.
Because I just saw this.
Here come Gillette and Guerrero.
Oh god. Oh, that's not good.
Guerrero's fast. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Side by side through one, side by side through two.
I think they touched each other a little bit, and I think that Gillette's car is just unable to keep driving this fast, because this car is just smoking more and more. There's just blue smoke coming out of the engine. I think it's possibly oil starvation, or rather the car is burning.
He's probably just really just overheating, I would say.
Probably also that, some radiator trouble, but radiator trouble means you're not going to be able to push the car as hard, because you're going to end up breaking the engine and getting out of the race. Meanwhile, it seems like Ghilardini has pitted as well.
Yep, he's in his pits now as well. He had the bad luck that he only lost his rear wing. I lost my front wing as well, so I had a little bit more balance. He just lost his rear wing, so he had to really crawl back. Speaking of that, I got lapped by Turi now, and I'm about to be lapped by Smiley as well. Talk about humiliation.
Well, that goes to show Turi's skills and Smiley's skills. I guess you should never really mess with Italian drivers.
Yeah, we'll have a look at everything anyway.
No, yeah. It seems like Gillette's car is just. It seems like it's on its last legs, honestly. Just the amount of smoke pouring out of that thing is amazing. It's incredible. But he is still able to defend himself quite well from Guerrero. I say that as Guerrero attempts a maneuver going on the outside line of the first corner. Gillette taking the inside. Not enough power to defend his position, and Gillette is now in 5th place. As they are coming up to a letdown car, that would be Ghilardini on that very, very tight corner. As they are bumper to bumper, almost side by side. Ooh, Gillette loses the rear end a little bit there, costing him those precious tenths of a second and widening the gap. It really seems like the more Gillette pushes his car, the less power his car makes, and the more trouble he is in. Because he is now trying to attempt to overtake Guerrero, but you can clearly see that the car lacks power. He's not going to be able to make that maneuver. Has to go around that corner. He took the inside, he took the outside, and Guerrero took the inside. But he just lacks the power to do anything about it, really. So I guess his only other option is to either sit back and relax and try to finish the race, or have some fun and blow the engine up. I would go with the second one, personally. I like blowing stuff up. Now they're both coming up to a lap down car. That would be Gilardini on the start-finish straight. Let's see what kind of troubles they're going to get into on this straightaway. Seems like Gilardini is not really fond. Oh my god! Gillett has gone off the track and he spun out. He tried to overtake Guerrero by going on the outside of the entrance to turn 1, but he just got into the grass and lost it. He's now going to have to deal with Gilardini, a lap down car, and then close the gap between him and Guerrero with a broken down engine. That's gonna suck. Then again, at least
Bernardino in the pits again, or still? I think he was still in the pits.
No.
He had a lengthy repair stop.
I have no idea. Because both him and Gilardini were on the same lap, right?
Yes, they're still on the same lap.
So I think Bernardino has entered the pits again. I honestly have no idea what's going on with Bernardino, but that is a very long pit stop. He's still not getting out of the pits. Meanwhile, it seems like Gillett is attempting to close the gap again, but it's up to 6 seconds with a broken car. I don't think there's much you can do about it, honestly. You just look at the smoke coming out of this car whenever it accelerates on a straight. Yeah, look at that. I don't think that car's going to make it to the end of the race, sadly. Meanwhile, it seems like Smaya is actually managing to keep his gap stable fairly well. Oh, Gillett spun out again. Well, that was unfortunate. He's going to have to drive even harder now to catch up to Guerrero if he wants that position back.
Well, we only have 3 laps to go, and he's already 13 seconds behind. He has nothing to gain by pushing hard, but he has... I should concentrate on driving.
Yes.
He has quite a lot to lose.
He does have quite a lot to lose, and he's about to get lapped. Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, there's 3 laps left. Might as well push the car and blow the engine.
Well, he wouldn't want to do that because he's still... Well, to put it that way, he's ahead of me right now. That would mean points. More points for the Gold Star.
True. That is true.
I would say he should only blow his engine after he crosses the start-finish line on the 24th lap.
Then again, I am the destructive type, so take that with a grain of salt. Anyways, it seemed like Touré is attempting to lap Gillett. Yeah, he's about to lap Gillett. He's very close to it, despite 3 laps being left. But I'm actually more surprised about Smaya, who managed to keep the gap somewhat stable, right around 22.5, 23 seconds behind the lead, which is quite a feat considering in the last race, Touré almost lapped everyone in that race. He was so close to lapping second place. That was brilliant, but I digress. It also seems like Gillett is just struggling now to even overtake the lap down car, although he might have managed to do that right now. As we go on board with Touré. Just look at the smoke coming off of Gillett's car. Like, if you stand behind him, you're not going to be able to see much. Thankfully, Gillett got out of the way pretty quickly for Touré to lap one more driver. And I wonder if he's going to lap one more. There aren't many laps left. I think
he's about 10 seconds behind Guerrero.
Yeah, he is 10 seconds.
Not 10 seconds? Make that about, well, I think maybe 20. Although he's on his penultimate lap.
Yeah, not a whole lot of time.
He's not gonna go for another lapping overtake.
It
No.
would be hilarious if he did that.
Yeah, it would be, but you know, he would have to make up about 15 seconds on Juan Guerrero in one lap. And okay, honestly, knowing seeing what I've seen today already, I think he could actually do that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna tell you about. But
it looks
I
like
don't know.
Joe Gillett is fighting back against Tui.
Yeah, he's not happy about getting lapped. I'm not sure it's gonna be
Welcome
able to
to
do
the
much.
welcome to the club, Joe. Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the lap, little lap club. That's actually hilarious. He's just going to attempt to go up against the leader in a broken car. What a mad lad. That's actually impressive.
Final lap now, anyway.
Ooh, final lap. Final lap. Something smart to say. I guess. Gillett is still trying to battle Turi. I'm speechless. It's just gone insane at this point. Gillett has gone completely insane. He is trying to go up against the leader.
He's got that competitive spirit, which you know I have as well.
He does.
I completely. If I were in his shoes, I would do the same and then some.
Well, yes, but he's got a broken down car, and he's a lap down.
I don't think. Now Joe is already quite a way behind Lorenzo, so he's not gonna do anything now. But yeah.
I have no idea. However, it
But
seems like
Lorenzo's about to come to the start-finish line, so he's got
he's on the back
race
straight
win today.
Now. He's getting out of the back straight and
So he's getting the full haul of points for today.
Oh
with
yeah,
50 points.
What an amazing feat, honestly. As Bernardino goes off the track to get Tori around him, that was something else. So, wait, did he? Oh no, he didn't. Okay, he didn't lap up to the podium again. Oh well.
Not quite.
It would have been an impressive feat if he did that again, honestly.
Well, he had only 10 laps, 10 less laps to work with. Honestly, if we had another 34 laps, he would have probably done it. And just as I say that, he crossed the start-finish line to win again.
Yep, he's crossed the finish line, and that means that Turi won the full points for this Gold Star event. This CMH Gold Star event.
So that's 50 points going towards the...
Oh, Gillett's car just blown up!
Yep, right across the start-finish line, told ya.
I know it! Oh my god, Gillardini's car is on fire! He's not going to be able to brake in time! He just crashed into the wall and lost the entire front end of his car.
I think people are finally discovering that bug that I showed you the other day, where if you rev it high enough, it'll just keep revving and rev higher and higher.
Oh, it's those cars!
It's those cars.
No.
I didn't find a way to fix that bug, so...
Oh, that is an hilarious... I love that bug. 5 million RPM, then you just drop it into 6th gear and watch the car as it does flips in the air. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful bug. I love it. But yes, it does seem like we've had 2 cars blow their engines on the very last straightaway. That was just hilarious. Just having 2 cars do that. As Guerrero gets onto the start-finish straight and crosses the line now, securing his 4th place. And then you, Pascal, also on the straight finish start-finish straight, also crossing the line at what seems like 20 kilometers an hour.
Well, the thing just started cut out.
Yeah, fair enough. That was
anyway.
That was quite an interesting race, honestly. That was something else.
So from the second race, the finishing order now, we have Lorenzo Turi having scored 2 wins from 2 races in front of Arturo Smarlia, Andre Lagunzad 3rd place, Juan Guerrero 4th, Joe Gillett 5th, myself 6th, Anderson Bernardino 7th, Simone Gilladine 8th. The non-finishers are Matthew Oboyski reported engine failure. Lucas Gomez lost connection. Steve Velocity, something happened to him. I don't know. Owen Potter had an accident. Power Mesto retired by himself, and Matt Sabagnoni, well, he had a, I don't know. He had like a flip or something.
His car was upside down at one point. Well, technically, it was doing a nose stand, and then it was upside down. But yeah, that was weird. A spectacular crash, mind you, but still. Anyway, what are your thoughts on this race? Since you're a driver and you happen to be in the booth, I'm going to take you hostage for an interview.
Anyway, yeah. Hold on. There you go. There we go. We got everything else. Yes, okay. Well, I don't know what you want me to say. This race went about as bad as the other one, except that this time I didn't finish third. I finished, what, sixth? Fifth?
Sixth, yes.
Sixth, yeah. Yeah, anyway, but yeah, these cars, yeah, no wonder we don't use them anymore in Formula 2.
How do you feel about Turri winning both races?
I'll be honest. We'll look at that. We'll look at either Turri found something in these cars that we all missed, or something else. And also the same with Smaglia. Like, Smaglia signed up to the race 5 minutes before qualifying. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he has literally no practice. And again, not to slander him or Turri, they just instantly go up to the top of the timing board. I don't want to imply anything, but we'll have a look at that. If everything went swimmingly there, if everything went well and there was no issues, they just understood the cars and everything, then props to them. Like, really, just holy ass,
Yeah, that was some amazing driving, honestly.
But yeah, we'll have a look at that. For now, the win stands. There's nothing I can really say from now. It's just that both of them, Turi with his outright pace and Smaglia with the fact he had literally zero practice, came in and was already up to speed. They were both kind of a little bit in their own league.
Absolutely. That was some honestly impressive driving by everyone involved. Not to take anything away from Lorenzo and Smaglia, but that was some impressive driving, especially Gillett. Gillett has managed to keep a couple of battles going, despite his car being broken from the start of the race.
As I said, his engine was just overheating most likely. Well, he said that in the game chat as well. His engine was 2 laps or 3 laps away from blowing up.
Yeah, and again, it's just an amazing feat by him to just simply keep the car running for so long. Just some amazing driving and actually managing to defend himself for so long with a broken down car.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually pretty good driving.
Yep, definitely. So now we got 2 races done today. The event is over, and about damn time. It's like 10. It's like, what's the time? What time is it? It's like almost 9:30 p.m. in good old England, which makes it about an hour later for us. So let me just shut down the racing server. Let's have a quick look at what happens next at CMH. I mean, we got I think 2 events coming up that we have got posters for. First one is September 22nd, so in exactly 10 days we go back to Avenisto in Finland for the 5th race of the Nordic Challenge Cup. So we go from racing modern, like really modern, sophisticated GP cars, to going back to the future with these old sports cars. I'm looking forward.
That's gonna be fun.
And after that, we have the penultimate round of the 1972 European Formula 5000 Championship. I wonder if we have a poster for that. We do. The Große Preis von Salzburg in Salzburg, Austria, the 26th of September 2021. So we still have, we didn't have massive turnout for the F5000 race, but we had enough. And with that, I can say there's still over 25 cars available. So if you want to take part in the final two races, this one and then the final race, which I didn't make a poster for, so apologies about that. Come and sign up. Just behave. With that being said, don't think we have any interviewees.
Nope, doesn't look like it. I haven't received any messages. And there's nobody in the green room, so...
Nope.
I think we're done.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're done. With that being said, this has been the GP2 event from Bahrain. The poster you see on the screen right now, that's actually a custom made. So let me just quickly give credit to Matthew Sibagnoni. He doesn't only make cars spin, he doesn't only make cars fly, he makes pretty sick posters as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, with that being said, we've been in Bahrain, we've done the GP2. It did go pretty well, I must say. I'm pretty impressed. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll see something like that next year. And on that bombshell, good night.
You really did that. Did you seriously just